What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Smash Factor, the show where the numbers don't lie and the drives go sky high. I'm your host, Alex Wober, and we've got a huge episode for you today. We're breaking down 3 league championships and the 2026 Ultimate Long Drive National Championship as the race to Worlds gets even more intense. We've got family members winning divisions, hitters doubling up, some familiar faces adding more hardware to the collection, and enough 300-plus yard drives to make your average golf ball feel like it needs a passport.
I don't need some photo IDs, sir.
There you go.
Okay then, Family Smith.
And of course, we'll be taking you all across the country as we break down exactly who smashed, who won, and who punched their ticket to the 2026 ULD World Championships.
You can have my ticket.
These tickets are not transferable.
But before we get into all that action, let's take a moment to thank the sponsors who help make Ultimate Long Drive and Smash Factor possible.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you.
Let's get into it now. We head up to the state of Pennsylvania for their league championship as the Western Pennsylvania League held its final event of the 2026 season at Miller Golf Center in Burgettstown. And we're starting things off with our lone youth division. Elliot Hickey captured the U9 boys division after his longest ball landed 162 yards. And then, rocking those signature white pants,
But these are my recreation clothes.
Terry Kirkland came ready to make a statement. Kirkland secured the Senior Valor division with a drive of 316 yards, but apparently one division was not enough. Terry also clinched another division for Worlds in the men's 55 Pro division after a 322-yard drive. That's 2 wins and a trip to Worlds. Moving through the amateur divisions, Chris Farley got things started in the men's 70 amateur division with a 228-yard drive. Following Farley, Alex Illich Sr. collected the men's 65 amateur division with a drive of 256 yards. Then DJ Petrelli stepped up in the men's 50 amateur division and launched a 321-yard drive for the victory. Adam Hickey followed up in the men's 35 amateur division, pounding a 357-yard drive to qualify for Worlds, along with Elliott earlier in the U9 boys division. So yes, the Hickey family is officially making travel plans. And finally, in Pennsylvania, Alex Illich capped off the competition by winning the Open Men's Amateur Division with a 359-yard drive, the longest drive of the Western Pennsylvania League Championship. Now we're taking the trip all the way across the country as we head over to the state of California for another league championship, as the SoCal League held its final event of the 2026 season at Morongo Golf Club in Beaumont. Starting in the Valor division, James Ray locked up the win after his longest ball traveled 309 yards. In the men's 70 amateur division, Geoff Pearson earned his spot at the 2026 Worlds after a 278-yard drive handed him the victory. Then David Anderson decided to make this a 2-division kind of day. He blasted his best drive 308 yards to win the men's 65 amateur division before also winning the men's 65 pro division with a 312-yard drive. The men's 50 amateur division went to Mark Stone King after a 330-yard drive as he prepares to return to the ULD World Championships. Then the men's 60 pro division went home with Captain Crush, aka Lynn Ray, after a 305-yard drive. And Sophia Arthur made a nice splash in the Open Women's Pro division, knocking down a 304-yard drive for the win. And rounding out the SoCal League Championship, Kyle Ferraro hit the longest drive of the event, launching one 355 yards to capture the Open Men's Pro division. Now let's head up north to the state of Minnesota for their league championship. The Minnesota-Iowa League held its final event of the 2026 season in Monticello, Minnesota at the Bertram Chain of Lakes. And we're starting with our lone youth winner. Owen Salter picked up the win in the U7 boys division with a drive of 32 yards. Then Gardner Lahette got rolling in the Senior Valor division, racking up the win after a 245-yard drive. But Gardner wasn't done. He also secured the men's 70 amateur division with a 264-yard drive. And that's called making the most of your tee time. In the Valor division, Adam Salter logged a 305-yard drive as his longest to secure the victory. Moving into the men's 40 amateur division, though, Chris Sayer recorded a 358-yard drive to clinch a spot at Worlds. Carlos Wale was next, winning the men's 35 amateur division after a nasty 370-yard drive. And finally, Adam Fitzpatrick launched the longest ball of the event at 373 yards to claim the Open Men's Amateur Division. And now, it's time for the big one. We're heading back to the state of North Carolina, where the ULD National Championships went down in Sunset Beach at the magnificent Sea Trail Golf Resort. And with loads of long drivers competing, we saw plenty of hitters clinch their spot at the 2026 World Championships. Let's get into the national championship results, starting with our youth divisions. Addison Garvey locked up the U7 girls division after a 114-yard drive. Then Tyler Garvey decided to double up. Tyler won both the U15 boys and the U17 boys divisions with drives of 312 yards twice. Two divisions, same distance. Tyler basically just hit copy and paste. Moving into the amateur divisions, though, Michael Porter collected the win in the men's 75 amateur division with a 254-yard drive. Then we had a matchup in the men's 60 amateur finals between Stuart Poit and Captain Crush, a.k.a. Lynn Ray, and Poit overcame Captain Crush with a 308-yard drive for the win. Next up, the men's 55 amateur finals saw Bill Ebersole face off against Bill Bentley, and Ebersole came out on top with a 314-yard drive. Jennifer White also came in strong in the women's 50 amateur division, winning after hitting her longest ball 220 yards. Now back to another men's final. The men's 50 amateur finals featured Bill Ebersole and Ulysses White, and Ebersole grabbed his second division win after a 296-yard drive. But apparently Bill wasn't interested in stopping at 2. Ebersole made one more stop in the men's 45 amateur division, smacking a 323-yard drive for the win. Craig Morelli was next up in the winner's circle, recording a 282-yard drive for the win in the men's 40 amateur division. Then Kenny Held stepped up in the men's 35 amateur division and absolutely brought the heat with a monster 372-yard drive. The Open Women's Amateur Division went to Michelle Scanlon after a 214-yard drive secured the win. And Nolan Locke was the winner of the Open Men's Amateur Division after a big 354-yard ball. But now it's time to move into the pro competition. Dave Zajac kicked off the pro side with a win in the men's 75 amateur division with a 278-yard drive. Lynn Ray also reappeared in the men's 60 pro division with a nice 322-yard drive. Now moving over to the men's 55 pro finals, Jeff Crittenden faced off with Bill Bentley, and the Critter came out on top with a 354-yard drive. But Critter was not stopping there. He collected another win, this time in the men's 50 pro division with a 364-yard drive. Moving into the final three finals on the pro side, Ernie Guimond faced off with Craig Morelli in the men's 45 pro finals, and Ernie came out on top with a win, including a 327-yard drive. Then Kenny Held reeled in another victory in the men's 35 pro finals over Corey Garvey after ripping a 372-yard drive. And finally, the moment we've been waiting for, the Open Men's Pro Finals. Elite long driver Isaiah Joyner battled against the dangerous Nolan Locke. Joyner collected the division win after the longest drive of the event and the coverage of these events at 384 yards. So through 3 league championships and a national championship, Joyner comes out on top with the longest drive at 384 yards. And that's how you close out a national championship. And just because the national championship is in the books doesn't mean the road to Worlds is over. Over the next few weekends, we'll have World Championship qualifiers all over the country. So if you're still trying to get into Worlds, or if you just want to have some practice, of course, there are still opportunities waiting for you. Head over to ultimatelongdrive.com to check out those upcoming events or follow our social pages for all the latest updates on the 2026 season. And before we wrap things up, if you're interested in the king of launch monitors, the incredible Spica 3 by GolfJoy, make sure you sign up for ULD. And if you're already a member, head over to the membership tab on ultimatelongdrive.com and claim your 15% off discount on the incredible Spica 3 launch monitor. And while you're there, make sure to take advantage of the other discounts available to ULD members through the membership tab. And that's going to do it for episode 21 of Smash Factor. 3 league championships, 1 national championship, a whole lot of division winners, and even more hitters punching their tickets to the 2026 World Championships. The road to Worlds is getting shorter, but there are still plenty of swings left to take. I'm Alex Wober. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep swinging, keep smashing, and we'll see you out there on the grid.